Welcome, class of 2029. My name is Mrs. Smith, and I am the Associate Dean of Academics. I would first like to take a minute to introduce you to the rest of our team in the Office of Academic Affairs. Mr. Nick Hoggins, Dean of Academics, Mr. Jerry Evans, who I like to call the Wizard of Oz, the man behind the curtain, who works tirelessly to put together our complex schedule, and Mrs. Katrina Wheatley, our administrative guru. Before we get into some important academic information, we want to first recognize where you might be right now emotionally or psychologically. I am sure both you and your family have already begun to envision what high school will be like at LaSalle. Maybe you had an older brother or dad or uncle graduate from LaSalle, or maybe you are the first person in your family to attend. Regardless of your situation, LaSalle has so much to offer, and really the exciting part is that you get to decide what your own unique path will look like over the next 4 years. You literally will become an explorer and seek out so many different possibilities for yourself. In a little while, you will hear from Mr. Coggins about our extensive program of studies, and you and your parents may feel like this. And as students, you may continue to feel this way for your first few weeks at school. Rest assured, this is all normal and we are here to help. We have over 160 years of collective experience acclimating freshmen to the LaSalle way of learning and interacting in community. And more importantly, as a LaSallian school, what we do and have done for 340 years is to be innovative, creative, and tireless in our efforts to meet the students where they are and to provide them with a meaning-filled education. Just come as you are. We will help you as you start your journey. When you enter our doors, you have a team of people to turn to for guidance, advice, and support. Your guidance counselor, Mrs. Sarah Martin, who you will get to know very well over the next 4 years. Your classroom teachers who understand the transition to high school can be difficult, and they will hold your hand for a little while and then gradually teach you how to manage on your own. Learning to communicate with them is an extremely important step and something you will become more comfortable with as you get to know them. Our Academic Affairs office is a good resource when you have questions. The door is always open. You will be joining a peer mentor group run by our seniors, and many of them tutor in our tutoring center. My point is that you are not alone, and you are encouraged to reach out to any of these individuals whenever the need arises. Finally, the one thing that I can almost guarantee, where you start your journey is not where you will finish. In 4 years, there will be tremendous growth, hopefully in all areas of your life, intellectually, socially, emotionally, and spiritually. We look forward to spending the next 4 years with you. Up next, I would like to introduce Mr. Nick Coggins, Dean of Academic Affairs, as he takes you through the roadmap of our academic program.
Good afternoon. I'm Nick Coggins, the Dean of Academics, and it's a delight to be here with you as you watch this video. There's a lot to share and summarize what we covered in our academic orientation on Sunday, March 9th. The first message to give you is just how exciting of a time it is to be at LaSalle College High School, especially regarding academics. This will be the first year that we will offer access to certain courses to freshmen. And by the time our current freshmen and this incoming class graduate, they will have graduated with more credits than ever before. We have created a special web page just for your class. It can be found under Academics and then under the Class of 2029. Welcome. On that web page, you'll see the general roadmap of the journey of your first day of school. Let's take a peek at that. On your Class of 2029 webpage, you'll see the path to LaSalle and notes the academic orientation on March 9th. Course selection process will begin shortly after that and carry into April. There'll also be some online forms that need to be completed in April and May. Placement tests will take place in late April, and the music evaluations will start in April and go into May. There's a special welcome mass on Sunday, April 27th, and then there'll be a series of online videos, sessions focusing on student life and athletics. And lastly, please note the first day of school, Tuesday, August 19th. On that class webpage, you'll see a bunch of folders, the tasks and events. The first one will be the academic orientation, where some information about that Sunday's event is there, and these recordings will be there as well. The next one will be the course selection. That's where you'll find all the details and instructions of how to select your courses for next year. And then after that, placement test information, and we will continue to add information to those folders as those dates approach. So that's your place to go in case you're curious if you need to complete any tasks or you need additional information. Going forward, we will send regular email communications reminding you of deadlines of when things should be done, and also pointing out other information for you as well. Those emails typically come out on Fridays, and we're going to try to spread them out so we don't overwhelm you. Really, the most important goal of today is to explain the course registration process. It's actually not that complicated, for you, that is, but we want to let you know how we will go about placing students in their first courses here. We will open up registration on Tuesday, April 11th, hopefully, and you'll be getting an email about that as well. And you'll find the instructions on your special web page. Also, we've included in your folders from this day, and if you missed the registration, the orientation, please pick up your folder in the main office. Contact Mrs. Katrina Wheatley. You'll see an email on Tuesday about that. There's a yellow paper in that folder, and it's a document that walks you through the course selection process. So that's the resource you'll need to get through this. We hopefully will have all the courses selected by April the 4th. Friday, April 4th. Well, you should know from the start that you have great timing, and that's because we've just added, including next year, over 40 courses over the past 3 years plus next year. That means you will graduate with a minimum of 4 additional courses or 8 additional courses, more than just the graduates of just a few years ago. That's actually a good thing. Guys, in case you're wondering, we're hoping that these courses are very relevant to you and are of interest to you, but we also think they're very important. So real quickly, a summary of those changes are: in freshman year, we've added a half credit in technology. It's a very hands-on course in freshman year. We've made it a year-long course. In sophomore year, there's a new requirement in effective communication, which is a year-long course. That meets half the time. That's why it's a half credit. In junior year, you will experience an online self-paced course in U.S. Civics, and that can also be completed during the summer rising in your junior year if you're ambitious and want to get it done in the summer. And junior or senior year, you'll need to take a course in personal finance and investment, or an honors level of that as well, which includes analytical modeling. In sum, that's 4 half credit additions just in our minimal requirements. In addition, we're adding courses, like I said, to meet the needs of our students. Here is a list of some of the courses that will be added just for the first time next year. Finally, in terms of new stuff, freshmen for the first time will have access to advanced courses in freshman year. So we'll be offering engineering design and some other courses in technology and communications, like AP Computer Science Principles, Emerging Technologies, and others. So more on that in a few minutes. Let me just show you the 4-year academic plan. We'll offer over 180 courses next year, which is a new record. And senior year is especially enticing because you get to choose over 5 electives. But first there's the core, all right? It's the 6 core areas: religion, English, math, science, world languages, and history and political science. As you will see, those go across freshman, sophomore, and junior years. There are 2 checks in that junior year box because of that U.S. Civics online course. But if you look at senior year, there are a lot of open spaces, and this is where a student will really design the best, most robust schedule that will fit his interests and show his academic initiative when he's applying to colleges. So there's a lot more about that, but I just wanted to give you an idea of a bird's eye view of academics going forward. There are a few other requirements. One will be taken care of, the half of it will be taken care of, so to speak, in freshman year, which is the phys ed and aquatics course that everyone will take in freshman year. And then over the course of 4 years, doesn't have to happen in freshman year. There is a fine arts or a creativity course that needs to be taken. Again, you can postpone this until sophomore, junior, or senior year. If you follow us on social media or have been to Mornings at LaSalle, you've certainly heard about our new concentrations program. It's new in that this is the second full year of concentrations that our students are involved in. So they are quickly finalizing their projects this May. You can see the 6 areas that we're running concentrations in this year, and the new one is health sciences. We are adding a 7th next year in leadership, public service, and law. Just a quick note that there is, for the vast majority of freshmen, they will not take classes that apply to core or elective courses in these areas. So freshmen can focus on their new high school courses and consider going into sophomore year if pursuing a concentration is in their cards. Just a quick note about our daily schedule. We essentially have a year-long side-by-side A/B kind of alternating block schedule. It's in an 8-day cycle, but again, more on that later. Don't worry, it's not as complex as it sounds. This schedule has many advantages. For one thing, we can fit far more courses in a student's experience at LaSalle. So that's one advantage. So we will do our best to balance a student's schedules with 3 academic courses on an A day and 3 on a B day. These courses will alternate throughout the entire year. And then there will be time for 2 additional courses. One will be in the area of technology and communications. Almost everyone will take the Introduction to Technology and Design. And then in one block, there will be a rotation of courses. That's phys ed and aquatics, group advisory with the group, with the grade level counselor that'll meet once every 8 days. And then there's something new called the Freshman Pro Seminar, which will address our desire to quickly get our freshmen acclimated to LaSalle, the way we do things, the way we behave, the great habits that will create great men. We'll talk about ethics and morals, but we'll also talk about many other topics that we can't fit into the group advisory course. So this is an exciting development and one that we'll be unveiling with you guys in the fall. It's also worth noting that there are 2, it's I think blocked by my video screen here, but there are 2 other spaces in the schedule for students who want a music course, students who are in the David program, which is a program for documented learning differences, students with documented learning differences, students who want an Foundations Art class, or if they're interested in taking the new engineering design course, which is available to freshmen. All students will have a lunch period both days, A and B day, and that is an hour long. There's plenty of other time to get work done, work on a group project, see a teacher, get tutoring. These are things that become invaluable, especially for students with busy afternoons, like student athletes in season, students in our musicals, speech and debate, mock trial, you name it. Students take advantage of their time during the day, and that will be something that will be discussed in group advisory classes and in Freshman Pro Seminar with the help of people like the senior mentors. Okay, now I'm going to go through really quickly how we make our placements and what you need to do to register for the appropriate courses. In science, all students will take a form of biology for those who got academic scholarships. And I need to emphasize here, those are the Founder, President, Principal McLean, or Delfonso scholarships. That does not include a leadership scholarship, and there's also a vocal scholarship, a few of those. So those would not qualify as academic scholarships, but those in the 5 other areas would. We will automatically give you options to take biology honors. We think you're ready for that, so please do select that on your course placement. Any other student will start with biology. And here's the progression in science. You'll go from biology to chemistry or chemistry honors to physics, physics honors or AP Physics 1. Then there are a ton of other electives, including 3 more AP Physics courses and a whole host of others. Some are related to the health sciences concentration or the engineering concentration, but that's down the line. For those students who did not get an academic scholarship, but are passionate or feel ready for an honors level biology course, there is a placement test for that. We've been running this placement test for a number of years and tweaking it, but we feel like this is a good indication of whether or not you're ready for the honors level. There's nothing to prepare for. We just ask you to try to interpret some data from graphs and some other things about the scientific method. But that is available to you. More on that later. We offer 3 world languages for next year: Chinese, Latin, and Spanish. Most students will come in at the level 1, move on to level 2 or level 3. For those who have had a full year of the language they'll be choosing in 8th grade that meets every day and it's like a high school level course, we encourage you to take the placement test to see if you're ready for level 2 or 2 honors. So here's the progression for world language. It's very sequential, makes sense. If you start in level 1, you're probably going to level 2 or level 3, not that you can't jump to an honors level. If you're in the honors level, at some point, you'll go from honors to honors to honors, and then hopefully into an AP course if that is of your interest in either junior or senior year, depending on when you started the language. Again, only students who are confident in their abilities in the language and want to skip the level 1 class should sit for our world language placement test. It has some multiple choice, fill in the blank, some written parts as well. It's about 60 minutes. And if need be, we'll give you a call and see if there are any other gaps in your learning, but something you could do over the summer to get ready for the next level. Almost all math students will be placed in one of these 5 courses, although a handful will be placed in pre-calculus or AP pre-calculus. Occasionally we have a student who comes in AP calculus AB, but that is highly unusual. So looking at these options, Algebra 1 Y is a course that meets for an extra 50% of the time. So instead of 60 minutes every other day, it could be 60 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes, 30 minutes, or possibly 90 minutes every other day. It depends on who's teaching that course. But that is really helpful for students who scored low on the entrance test. We will invite those students through their parents into this option in the summertime. We highly recommend that you take us up on that invitation if we reach out to you. Most of the students will be in Algebra 1, and then for those students who have had some Algebra 1 or have had a lot of Algebra 1 but haven't retained it all, we want you to go into the accelerated Algebra 1 and Geometry course. So this will put you in a course that will cover the high school basics, make sure you're good with Algebra 1, and include an entire course of geometry in 1 year. Then you're one step ahead of your peers and well on your way to a calculus course. Some students will be ready to go right into Algebra 2 or Algebra 2 honors. And here's the math progression. As you can see, there's some statistics options. The vast majority of our students take 4 years of a language, even though it's, of math, even though there's only 3 years required. and many try to get to calculus. Some will double up on geometry and pre-calculus in order to get there. Some will take geometry in the summertime over 5 weeks. But again, that's down the line. So we have some data, of course, from your entrance test scores, but that was in the fall of 8th grade. So it would be so much more helpful, which is why we give all of our students a placement test at the end of 8th grade in late April. So every student, no matter what course you want to select, is going to come in and take a test that starts with some 8th grade math, moves on to some algebra, eventually gets into some algebra 2, and we see where your abilities lie. So that's an important gauge. We also will look at the placement test to try to figure out, or the entrance test to try to figure out what's the best placement for you. Like biology, there's nothing to do in English in terms of on your part. We will use the entrance test scores to figure things out. And here we'll look at academic scholarship awardees and students who scored in the 80th percentile on the 3 different domains of the of English on the test. So that's verbal, language, and reading section. We'll be looking at the national percentile and a score over 80 percentile in all 3. The majority of freshmen will go into English 9. The rest will go into honors or English Y, like the Math Y class, the Algebra 1 Y. This is a class that has a meeting time of 50% more and goes over the same curriculum, but there's more time and more with the curriculum, and also more one-on-one time with the teacher. Here is the progression in English. As you can see, AP options are available not just to those who start in honors. It's not uncommon for a regular English 9 student to eventually get to AP English Language or AP English Literature. We run as many as 6 sections of AP English on junior and or senior year any given year. Almost half the class would be in an AP class. So that's the destination for a lot of our students. In the area of history and political science, again, we'll be looking at academic scholarship awardees to give them direct access to the only AP course we offer our freshmen, other than the new option of AP Computer Science Principles. So AP Human Geography is a course, a college level course with an exam at the end in May. And we typically look at any students over the 90th national percentile score on the entrance test. The rest of the students will take World History 1. That does not mean that they won't be able to perform really well and get a recommendation in February of next year from their history teacher for AP World History in sophomore year. There's an AP course at each level of the progression from freshman to senior year. You note the U.S. History Civics online course is part of that junior year requirement, and there are a few electives as well. There is no requirement for a course in social sciences in freshman year, but in sophomore year there is. It's a new requirement of that effective communication course. Beyond that, there are a number of courses that have come online recently in this department. In the Department of Innovation and Design, almost all the freshmen will take the Introduction to Design and Technology. We are offering a placement test to test out of that course, and then have options in upper level courses in programming, emerging technologies, networking, and digital communications. More on that in a little bit. This slide just gives you a sense of how many courses we'll be offering in the area of innovation and design. It's probably easier to go through our website under academics and departments to check them all out. As you can see, there are 2 concentrations as well, the IT professional concentration and the digital media and communications concentration. Again, we do have a fine arts requirement for graduation or a creativity requirement for graduation. So some freshmen will select an art course or a music course right from the start. Many students come to us for our music program and our choral program. So those students will have courses every year in most cases. Art sometimes as well, but in freshman year, you can take an elective course in one of these areas, art, chorus, or music. They are year-round courses. They're scheduled like other courses for the most part. If you're taking a music course, you'll be an introduction to music performance, which will be the band that you're in. And then you also take instrumental instruction along with that, which are the lessons in your instrument, usually one-on-one or one-on-two. Students can start a new instrument, in which case you would only have instrumental instruction if that's of desire. Again, this does not have to happen in freshman year, but it is an option for those who want to get involved in our music and art programs right away. All students will take our religion class in 9th grade titled Catholic Lasallian Identity. This is a great course that merges students from all different academic levels and all different faith beliefs in one course. As you can see from the title, it talks about the fundamentals of our Catholic faith, as well as the Lasallian charism and history. Gives everyone kind of a level playing field as we go forward through the 4-year requirement of religion. The other scheduled courses that will fill out a student's roster include group advisory, as I said, in a block that's shared with the physical education and aquatics. So have gym class one semester and the pool in the other. And then there's that special pro seminar that course that we are developing currently right now and will be unveiling next fall. Lastly, for students who are enrolled in the David program, they will see on their schedule Academic Support 1. Again, these are students with documented learning differences who are meeting with a learning specialist 6 out of every 8 days of our cycle. Okay, here's a summary page of the course placement test. This information is on our website. It's on your handout from this event, kind of all over the place. But to go through it one more time, all students will take a math placement test. The optional placement tests are in science, if you want to go from biology to honors biology, and in world languages, if you want to go to a level 2 or 2 honors in Spanish, Latin, or Chinese. Again, you do not need to let us know when you're coming. We'll have the placement tests ready. They will take place on the 23rd, 24th, 28th, and 29th of April. Please arrive around 3 to 3:30. As late as 4:30 if it's only an hour-long exam, but 4 o'clock if it's a 90-minute exam. That makes sense. We'd like to get these all done by 5:30, and I'm sure you would too. You can take math on only one day because it is up to a 90-minute test, but you can double up on science and language if you decide to do both of those. For music, these are evaluations for placement, so come with some kind of music that you can read or you enjoy playing, and that will help us to determine which course you belong in, which band to join. Also, again, instrumental instruction will be a part of that. So the dates for those evaluations are April 28th and May 7th and May 8th. They will run throughout the afternoon, and we will work with you to schedule a 10 to 15-minute time slot with your instrument. And lastly, I've mentioned this a couple times before, but for students who want to skip the Introduction IT course and jump into some computer science programming, emerging technologies, or other digital media courses, we need you to fill out a survey and share some of your experience, almost like a portfolio of your work. And lastly, for those students who want to add a full year course in engineering design, that too is available, and that too requires a survey submission. So please do all of those by the time you complete the course selection process as well, which the deadline is April the 4th. I am almost done with my part. Just a quick plug for the summer program, the pre-9th summer program. You can find that on our admissions page under summer program, Summer at LaSalle in the class of 2029. This is a wonderful way for students to get to know not just their classmates, but additional students who will be here, as well as along with staff, and to get to know the campus. So definitely something to consider. I'm confident that the young men watching this are going to be very excited to see that there will be some summer work this summer. That work will be posted in our learning management system called Schoology. More on that later. For now, you're just going to work with PowerSchool to register for your courses, or select your courses, I should say. The summer work will likely entail a relatively short novel for English, and definitely a shorter, more pamphlet-like summary of De La Salle's life and the Lasallian history and charism. So those assignments will be posted in June. For now, enjoy your 8th grade work and the rest of 8th grade, and then we'll post that and let you know when we do. Since you're watching this video at this point, you will know that course selection is open now for freshmen. You'll go with the instructions provided by Mr. Sabatino. On the next section, you will see class registration on the navigation page on the left-hand side, and then it'll open up the courses. Again, you will only see options for courses in advanced placement or honors if you are eligible for those. If you have questions, there are email and phone numbers for all the department chairs on that handout, and you can always contact us in academic affairs as well.
My name is Michael Sabatino, and I'm the Chief Information Officer here at LaSalle College High School. I'm going to talk to you very briefly about your new LaSalle account, how you can get signed in, and what steps you need to complete. Just as an overview, I'll talk about your new LaSalle account, our Student Information System PowerSchool, our Device of Choice program, and some new options that are available to freshmen for next year regarding our freshman technology curricula, and then lastly, some information about how to get support from our Office of Information Technology. You should have received one of these sheets already, and if you have not received one of these yet, please contact Katrina Wheatley in our Academic Affairs office. This sheet has some important information and also some directions on how to get you started with your new account. As you can see, there are 3 important pieces of information on this sheet: your new email address, your password, and your student number. LaSalle uses a single sign-on, or SSO, with Microsoft for nearly everything for students. So you get used to using this email address and password to log into everything from PowerSchool to Schoology to Office.com to Canva, Adobe, you name it. I'm sure that many of you are coming from schools that are Google Docs schools, but I want to assure you, the switch to Office.com is a painless one. So please make sure you're using your Microsoft account for all of your LaSalle assignments. As you can see on the sheet, we instruct users to start by going to Office.com and signing in with their new email address and password. After you sign in, you'll be prompted to provide information for multi-factor authentication. We do ask that you use the student's phone number and not a parent's or guardian's, as it becomes cumbersome when a student has to contact somebody in order to log in. This setting up of multi-factor authentication can be done via SMS, but we really do prefer that you use the Microsoft Authenticator app. The steps will be pretty clear-cut, but if you have any questions, as always, please reach out. That login that students have will also work for our student information system, PowerSchool. PowerSchool is where students, parents, and guardians can find information about schedules, attendance, academic history, such as report cards, and even our course registration information, which is what you're hoping to do. Once you've signed into your Microsoft account, you can use it at lschs.powerschool.com in order to complete your course registration. For parents and guardians, you should have received one of these sheets. If you already have a student at LaSalle, you don't need a new sheet, as your new student will be added to your current account. Additionally, if there are more than one person should have received a sheet, but you only received one, that's likely because you only provided one email address, and parent/guardian accounts are tied to an individual email address. If you follow the directions to reset your password and you don't receive an email, please just email us at support@lschs.org and we'll be happy to assist you. I want to talk about our device of choice program. When I first started at LaSalle, we provided devices for students, but we found over time is that it was difficult for us to provide a device that met every student's needs. To that end, we established our device of choice program, which allows students to bring a device with which they're most comfortable to use while at LaSalle. The main points that I would highlight under this device of choice page, which, by the way, you can find if you click on the Class of 2029 page, you can see there'll be a device of choice link there. I want to talk about three main things that I find under the FAQ. The first is that unfortunately we don't support Chromebooks, iPads, or tablets as a student device. Students will need to bring either a Windows or Mac laptop every day. We just run into too many issues when it comes to printing, connecting to our Wi-Fi, etc., and some of the tools that teachers use, frankly, just aren't supported on Chromebooks. Secondly, I would really strongly urge families to consider purchasing accidental damage protection for students' devices. I've seen way too many things in my 11 years here at LaSalle where student devices, even if they're very careful, accidents happen. Please consider insuring your device. Lastly, if you have a student who's interested in engineering design or multimedia, you might want to consider what we call advanced devices under that page as well. For any devices, if you look, you'll see general specifications that we ask that you meet with those devices. If you have any questions, as always, please reach out. As Mr. Coggins went through earlier, there's a variety of course offerings for students at LaSalle. To that end, we've decided that starting with the class of 2029, we're going to give freshmen who already have experience in the areas of information technology or networking, digital media, whether that's video, or photography, or graphic design, or computer programming. Students who already have experience in those areas, we're going to give them the opportunity to test out of our traditional freshman technology course in order to begin taking sophomore level courses in the preferred area as early as first semester freshman year. You should have received an email with a survey that included an area for you to submit your portfolio. And if you haven't done so, please check out the Class of 2029 website, and we will follow up with anyone who applied when we get to that point in April. Lastly, if you have any questions at all about this presentation, please don't hesitate to reach out. If you email support@lschs.org, that creates a ticket in our ticketing system, and someone will get back to you as soon as possible. If you have a specific question about a device, however, and our device of choice page, I'm happy to answer those questions directly. If you're looking at specifications, say, hey, Mr. Sabatino, is this device going to meet my students' needs? Whatever it is, you can email me directly, and that's my email address is sabatinom, and that's at lschs.org. One last note I would make is that if you call our office, and our phone number is 215-402-4995, there's a strong chance that a student might answer the phone. I would just ask that you try to be patient with them. Our Lab Manager program is full of hardworking students who are learning how to operate in the field of IT. So if a student answers, I assure you it was on purpose.